limits. Liberal, irreverent, and really, really gay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me tonight here for Brain Purge on Monday morning, actually, technically. I was going to do a gay mass show tonight, but decided to do Brain Purge just because I really didn't have my show set up for gay mass tonight. I was going to, I need to usually do some research on the latest topics and things affecting the gay community. Didn't do that tonight. I was kind of lazy, so decided instead to just do a Brain Purge show tonight, so for an hour or so. So if you're listening to the show, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you did. You can always find more information out about me at offlimitshow.com. You can find out information at Twitter, on Facebook, as well as on Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com. Of course, on iTunes and also on Stitcher.com. So hopefully you will check me out in those places. Hey, Radio Rebel, thanks for joining me tonight on the show. I appreciate it. What's going on? How are you doing tonight? So anyway, just going to do a show about Purge my brain as usual on the show. So last episode we had, was it the last episode? The episode before, a couple episodes ago, we had a caller who called in to the show and actually won a free Off Limits Show t-shirt. So if you're interested in winning your own t-shirt, be sure to listen into the show, the beginning of the shows, the Gay Mass shows and the Off Limits shows, and you can actually win a free Off Limits Show t-shirt. You can see the t-shirt at offlimitshow.com. You can click on the t-shirt there. It'll take you to the shop, and you can actually buy one for yourself if you prefer, or you can win one on the show simply by calling in to the show, listening to the beginning of the show and towards the middle of the show. And sometime in that point, I will announce the secret word, and all you have to do is be the first caller to call in during the show after I've announced the word and talk to me about whatever we're discussing, and say the word, and you will win a free t-shirt. I'll send it to you right out. So we had listener Ken Boggle who won his shirt on a couple shows before and had that sent out today. Should be to him in a week or so. So hopefully you too can win. So feel free to call in. Also, there's more than one kind of shirt. You can get a what was I going to say? Sorry. You can get one shirt which actually has my tagline on it, which is liberal, irreverent, and really, really gay. So mostly gay people will wear that shirt. Or you can get the other shirt, which is a Brain Purge Show shirt, which has my Brain Purge logo on it, and it has the offlimitshow.com address on the back. So lots of things you can win, and just to say thank you to listeners who are listening, you can always win that way. So feel free to check that out if you're interested. Hey, Rose, thanks for joining me on the show. As usual, I appreciate you coming, as always, to the show. So I was just on the Todd Morris show, or actually it's called Prankville USA on TalkShoe. He's going to be bringing his show here to Spreaker soon. So welcome him when he comes. Check him out. Be sure to follow him and his show. When he does come, it's a fun show, much less serious than mine usually is. So it's a lot of fun just to talk and hang out with people on his show. Talk about random things. We were talking on there a minute ago about about money and what we would do if we had $1 billion. We were talking at first about Oprah Winfrey and how she's so wealthy, and other people in America who are so wealthy, and how it must feel to be so incredibly rich that you don't have to think twice about writing a check for even $2 million. It just like chump change to some degree, or buying a purse in her case for $40,000 just because she's on a whim. So I was talking to them about that and thinking about how wonderful it must be to not have to worry about money. You think about all the things that we have to worry about in society. We worry about our health, we worry about our family and friends or whatever, our social life and our work professional life. But what most people worry about the most is what? They mostly worry about money. And so people who are that wealthy don't have to worry about one of the biggest things that we have to worry about in life. And I was watching a documentary a few months back called Happiness, or How to Be Happy, or something like that. And it was examining what makes people happy, what makes people feel joy and happiness, and what really makes people happy. So these scientists did a study about what makes people happy and what doesn't. And they determined, actually, through the study, this is like a 5-6 year study of many people, that money does increase happiness at a certain level. But once you've reached a certain level of money or of wealth, it no longer has an effect on your happiness level. And that makes sense if you think about it. So basically what they discovered is, for example, if you're someone who's poor, and let's say you make, I don't want to say a number or make people feel bad if they if they make so much. Well, they use the term, they did use a specific number. So let's say if you make, you're in the poverty level or lower, and you make very little money every year, and you have to live on that. Those people are typically very unhappy because they have to think about the basics for happiness, or basics for continuing to live, right? And those would be what? Those would be shelter, food, comfort, things like that. Just things, the basics you need to survive, right? So those people typically are not very happy because they have to just work their butts off just to survive, and barely survive, and sometimes they're not surviving at all. Whereas people who make an average wage, which is the middle class wage of $50,000 a year, they come into money. Excuse me, I forgot to say, the people who are on the poverty line, who come into, say, who go from saying, very little money every year and go up to making $50,000 a year, increases their happiness by like 20 times. Okay. Somebody who's making $50,000 a year, who all of a sudden makes $100,000 a year, also experiences a gain in happiness from feeling happy at $50,000 to feeling about 10 times as happy at $100,000. And then they discovered over $150,000, the happiness level starts to go down dramatically. So once people reach to about $1 million or $2 million or $10 million, no, it was $10 million, $10 million in wealth, they no longer have it no longer has any kind of effect on them, on their happiness level. Thanks, Radio Rebel, for coming. I appreciate it. So they no longer care about money or anything else. So they don't have to worry about anything anymore. So the point is that no, money does not make you happy unless you're under a certain level. So if you're under a certain level, then you're no longer happy. You're happier if you have more money. But once you get to a certain level of wealth, you're not. So people like Oprah Winfrey and Bill Gates and Donald Trump, I guess, or people like that who have a ton of money, aren't any happier than someone who's making $1 million or $10 million a year, as opposed to someone who's has $10 million in their account, as opposed to somebody who has $1 billion in their account. So hopefully people will realize that money does not buy happiness. Really, it only makes you a little happier for a little while. But for me, money is important only to me as far as having security. So as long as you have security, you have what you need, your shelter, like I said, your food, your family, your friends, whatever, to take care of the things that you need to survive and live on. And you have more than that. As long as you have enough, more than just enough to survive, then I'm happy, meaning I can spend money on things that I have to worry about, where it goes or whatever. Then I'm happy. I don't need $1 billion to be happy. I would be very happy if I had $1 billion, but you don't have to have it. I don't have to have it to be ecstatic or whatever. So, what's my point? My point was going to be so what else makes you happy in life besides money? If money doesn't really truly bring you happiness as a whole, if all it really does is to serve your level of security and not having to worry about things, then what makes you happy? To me, I think what makes you happy, for me anyway, For me personally, and everybody's different. For some people, it's professional. Their professional life. For some people, it's their love life or romance life or their husband and their wife or whatever. For other people, it's their family and friends, and for other people, it's something else. So, or your hobbies or whatever. So everybody has something different that makes them happy. Well, for me, it's definitely a combination of things. I'm happy to have a good career and have people come to me and consider me for as an expert in my field and things like that, and actually hire me. To trust me to do their houses and to design their homes and to design their from the bottom up, and sometimes the interior design their homes as well, or to hire me as a realtor or whatever the case is. I'm happy and I'm well known for those things. I enjoy it. So for me, that makes me happy. Being professionally successful. What also makes me happy is having the love of my husband and being in a loving, committed monogamous relationship, long-term relationship. That makes me very happy too. It's extremely important to me to have someone to come home to and someone to talk to about my problems or about my day, happy or sad, and to just share life with. To have to go through life alone without someone to share it with has to be very sad. And I thought for the longest time when I was younger, I thought, well, I dated many people. I had several relationships, whatever, and they just didn't work out. And I thought, well, I'm never going to find the one or whatever. And I did. And I thought that was the case, but actually I ended up finding the one, and I'm very happy with him. So people who actually feel like that brings them happiness are fortunate, because we all need relationships too. We need money to survive, but we also need the love and companionship of someone to survive, whether it's just one person or our family. But you don't have to have a romantic relationship to survive or to be happy. You can also get that same need met through, even though it's a different type of relationship or feeling. You can also get that need met through friends or family, whether it's your children or whether it's your parents or your brothers and sisters or your family, your friends or your coworkers, whatever it is, whoever you have a social life with. That is what is really important. Hey, Ken Boggle, thanks for coming out. Hey, David, thanks for coming out. I was over at TalkShoe, David, by the way. I was over at TalkShoe. It's late like this, I'm usually over there. If I'm at Desert Show or Todd's show, then I'm here, if I'm doing a show at all. So anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, so the thing about happiness is that it is definitely dependent upon you as an individual. And I think that people have to remember that happiness is in your own hands. Happiness is in your own hands. Happiness is in your own hands. You have to remember that happiness is something that you control. It's not something that is controlling you, or something that is, out of your control. So I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about what the fuck? This is not working. Hold on a second. I'm having issues again. Oh, there we go. We're going to talk about a very good thing that I learned through Buddhism. I'm not a Buddhist, but there's many things in Buddhism that I believe in, and tenets of how to live one's life. And so we're going to talk about that and happiness, and how that relates to you, and how you can be happy by using this sort of tool that they teach in Buddhism, or this rule, I'd say, of living one's life. We'll be right back.
Things haven't been the same since you came into my life. You found a way to touch my soul, and I'm never, ever, ever gonna let it go. Happiness lies in your own hand. It took me much too long to understand.